everyone, welcome. Come on in. Just seeing everybody come in. Good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. How are we? How are you doing? Welcome to the Life Coach University Pay It Forward coaching session with myself, Divina Johnson. I am a life coach, a life and success coach for women. I help women abandon social norms and come back home to their authentic selves. So it's good to see everybody. Use the chat to say hi and any questions that you have as we're going through. I'm just seeing everyone come in. Hello, hi, how are you? And let me know where you are all from, actually, as well. Just put in the chat where you're from. As the chat works, all panelists, it would just come to myself, or all panelists and attendees would go to all the attendees that are participating today. So you can use either one of those to put your message through. That's no problem. Hi, welcome, come on in. Come on in. Okay, let's get started. So today, for the Pay It Forward Pay It Forward session, I wanted to talk about motivation and how to stay motivated. So depending on where you are in the world, but here in the UK, the 21st of June was meant to be a day that all of the COVID restrictions would have been released, and everything would have kind of gone back to some sort of normal for people. And then unfortunately that's been extended for another 4 weeks. And what I have noticed in my private clients, and just only yesterday talking with two, that they're just feeling like a bit down, just feeling down about it and feeling like it's never gonna end. And how do you keep going when these types of things are happening in the country, in the world? And so that made me think. So we spoke a bit about that. So I wanted to bring it to here and just talk about two things that I think can really help to keep you on track. Keep you motivated, keep you going. It's really important, I believe, to let go of the things that we can't control and start to and hold on to the things that we can. So these two things are things that I think you can really build and hold on to and kind of anchor, because that's what we need in these times, is we need to be able to anchor onto things that make us feel good, that help us, keep us motivated, keep us confident, just to keep us moving, keep us going. And I do talk about these things in my ebook, which is How to Have Unstoppable Motivation. It's practical tips to keep you moving. So what I want to talk about is a morning and an evening routine. And I have spoken about this before in other sessions, and in another Pay It Forward session, and I had people ask that maybe had missed it, or can I talk about it again, because they liked the tips that was in there. So I thought this would be a good time to bring that up again. So and also, just before I start, I just want to acknowledge those that are here and that you've taken the time for yourself to invest in you, and then also to be able to pay this forward afterwards. So yeah, let's dig in. So I'm just going to talk about what I do for my morning and evening routine. So I'm going to start with the evening, because I actually think that that's where it actually starts. It starts in the evening and builds on to the next day. So one of the things that I've learned is that having your last meal close to when you go to sleep isn't really good for your sleep and good for your digestion, because your body's doing lots of different things at night anyway, without having to then digest food. So one of the things that I started to do was have my meals at least 2 hours or 3 hours before going to bed. So I try to make sure that I have my last meal at 7 p.m. And that meal will also be something quite light. So I used to have, quite heavy meals in the evenings, because we're kind of taught that, right? That, your breakfast is a certain size, lunch is a bit smaller, and then dinner is like huge. When actually it would work better if it was the other way around, and that maybe you had more for breakfast and a lighter lunch and then a lighter dinner. So that's the kind of thing that I started doing, and made like a huge difference to how I was sleeping and actually how I was feeling throughout the whole evening when having something later. So I have maybe things like wraps or salads or just things that aren't so heavy on the body. Does anyone else? And you can put it in the chat, or just looking at the question box here to make sure there's any questions. As I said, put questions in. But if there's anyone else that does that, or maybe does the other and has eats heavier in the evenings, just put your details in the chat here. And someone just typed in here, yes, I have to have list food in evening, otherwise I feel heaviness in my stomach and in the morning too. Yeah. And someone else here saying, yes, you mean light, yeah. Thank you, yeah. So someone, needing to have a lighter food in the evening, so they're not feeling so much heaviness in the night or in the morning. And someone else here has also said that they normally have heavier meals in the evening, haven't really thought about it before. Yeah, like I said, I was the same. I mean, I think it's something that we might grow up with, a lot of us, that, you have a big meal in the evenings, but actually it's not doing us that much of a good service when we get to the to nighttime and to sleeping. So yeah, definitely one of the things I would do is try to start having lighter meals and have them 2 or 3 hours before you're going to sleep, to give your body time to do all that digestion before you actually lie down. So I have 2 children who are, they've just had birth. One just had a birthday, that's why giving me a minute to remember the age. So they are 3 and 4 now, 3 and 4. My daughter will be 5 in a couple of weeks. So I like to get them ready and off to bed as well. So they go to bed at 7. So like we normally eat about like 6-ish around that time, and then getting them bathed and ready for bed, kind of that kind of process. So for me, having like a really strong routine with them, and there's just the same thing each evening really helps me and them. So we all know like what's happening in the evening and how it works. So having that same routine. And if there's anyone here that also has children that might also do the same thing and find that really helps, but it definitely helps for me. And I do think it helps for them to know that this is the same routine that we have in the evenings. So, I also tidying up time. Tidy up time, they also have a song for it. But so it's kind of tidying up all the toys, then we go upstairs, have the bath, in the pajamas, having a story and into bed, and it's the same thing every night. But it also just helps with the consistency of running through each evening, each night. And obviously not every night is perfect. There'll be nights where they may not go to sleep straight away or whatever, however that might work. But I find just continuing to keep that same routine helps with the motivation, helps to keep going. Like everybody knows that this is what's happening at this time. So I find that really does help, having a strong routine. If you do have children, if you're able to put that also into place. Is there anyone else here that also does that and has children and finds that works for them? Someone, yes, I've got one, but night times can sometimes be a struggle. Yeah, I agree. My son, I say that he didn't sleep for 2 years, and because that's really what it felt like. He didn't sleep for 2 years. He would go to bed, but he would wake up. That was the thing. Because I've had this routine with my children, because it's something actually that my mum and my siblings passed down to me, is to like have the routine from they're a baby. So from a baby, they've been going to bed since 7, and like that, I've just always kind of had that routine. But he would, yeah, and he would go to sleep. He would go to sleep, but then he would always wake up multiple times throughout the night, and that was really difficult, because I think he would wake up at 10, at 12, at 2, at 3, like almost every night, and also not for anything, not for food or anything. He would just kind of just wake up because he wanted to play. He just wasn't tired anymore. So that was difficult. So I do understand that. Yeah, definitely, it can be difficult with the children, the young ones, and getting them to sleep. But I think definitely just to continue to keep trying to have that routine, because it's good for you, kind of keep you sane, and good for them. And I've just got another, someone just written in the chat here, having wind down and no gadgets. My son goes 200 miles per hour to sleep. I need his energy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the no gadgets. Wind down is definitely a great one. But yeah, so it's definitely having that wind down time, and not just like, going straight to bed. But so yes, that's another thing that I do, so with the children. So then, and also what I found is then having that routine, and then them going to bed at 7, because for me, I don't go to bed until about 10. So I have 7 till 10. And actually that time is now for me to like pour back into myself. And that's really another reason why I really love like having a routine and them going to bed at the same time every night, because now I can actually say that this time is for me. So in that time, and I mean, you can fill this time with whatever it is that you wish to fill it with. But for me, I am normally doing some work. I'll probably have some coaching clients in that time. I can do it with reading. I can do a bit more cleaning if I need to. And normally I do kind of, they've tidied up the toys, but then I'll kind of tidy up the house in the evening before I sit down and do whatever it is I want to do next. But this is now like my time to kind of to nourish me, because as most of us do throughout the days, whether we're at work or we're at home, but we're normally, in service of others, doing other things. So being able to have each day allotted time that is actually just for you is really important, and that can really also help with motivation. Knowing that, do you know what, I have like these 2 hours or 3 hours, like whatever it is, whatever time it is for you, just for me, just to do what you want to do. So for me, I normally like just do another kind of clean down of the house, maybe do the washing up from the dinner, or kind of tidy up around the house and just make it look good, and then comfortable for me. And normally sit down, and then I'll probably have a coaching call, and I may do some reading after that, or just some kind of personal growth work I might do. And then there are other times when I'll also just sit down, and maybe I'll just chill out, and I'll watch a TV, or I'll just switch off if that's what I need. But I feel like just having that time gives me the time to find out what I need. Because I feel like a lot of us don't even give ourselves the time to ask ourselves, like, what is it that I need, like, in this moment right now? And because we're so busy doing all the time. So it's really important to create the space where you can be you and ask yourself those types of questions. You might want to journal in that time or write, or but give yourself the time, like create the time that you have for you. You may not be able to get 2-3 hours, and maybe it is only an hour or it's half an hour, but whatever it is, make sure you're creating that time for you, because it's really important. This is how we can end up in burnout and feeling like we have no motivation or no energy, because we're just giving and not having any time for ourselves. But we do have to we have to own our part in that in the co-creation of it, because we can do that. We have the options to be able to create space for ourselves. We just have to do it. So definitely, try to create that kind of space for you. So once I've done that bit of work for myself, what I'll normally do then is actually get into bed at 9 o'clock. This is what I try to do. And obviously, not every, as I've said before, not every day works out perfectly, but this is normally how it goes for me, is that I can get into bed at 9 o'clock, get myself ready. And also, for people that like doing, I don't know, like face masks or do all that kind of stuff, you try and build all that kind of self-care stuff into your evenings. It really can just help boost you, just give you that boost of energy that you might be feeling that you need, or that, just that care, that self-care. So, I do all of that, get myself into bed, and then I'll normally read for half an hour. And this is also my wind down. This is how I'm winding down. So I'll read for half an hour, and then I will journal. So this is another thing. Journaling is something that I'm a really big advocate for. So I've been journaling for many years now. I have many books, and I do look forward. I look forward to the time that my daughter can actually, and my son can read those journals, because I do want them to read them and see all the things that their mum had went through. But I love journaling because it's a really good way to get everything out of your head and onto paper before sleep. So because you don't want to go to bed with all of these different thoughts that are happening, and then try and sleep on that, because that's another reason why a lot of people have disturbed sleep, is because of all of these thoughts and feelings and things going on. So it's a really good way to actually just get everything down onto paper, out of your head and onto paper. And if journaling seems like a bit daunting maybe, or how do I start? For me, the first time I was journaling and was learning how do you do this? I just wrote about my day, really. I just wrote about my day. I just wrote just from the start, the time that I woke up, what I had for breakfast, where I went that day, what work was like, who I interacted with, what I had for lunch. I kind of just wrote what I did that day. And then what you will find is, as you're doing that, you will start to write about how you feel about those things that happened in the day. And then this is how you can start to journal and get to how you actually feel about certain things. So, you might have woke up at a certain time, but you were tired, and maybe you were rushed into work, maybe had an encounter at work that was good or not so good, and you'll start to write about how you feel about these things. And as you're doing this and it's all coming out, you might find that it's a bit of a release for you, because it's at the moment, it's just all inside and it's all in here, it's all in your body, it's tension. But then when you start to actually get it out onto paper, and start looking at maybe then how you can make sure that this doesn't happen tomorrow, or the different things that you'll put into place to make sure that, if it was a good day, how do I do more of this? And if it's not a good day, how do I do less of this? And you can just start to you can just start to flow with it and write. And you don't have to, it's not something that you have to write pages of, you know, it's just what you feel. It's just like really giving yourself a chance to just be and just flow. No expectations, no judgments. It's just you in the paper and you in the book. So you just give yourself the chance to write. And the other thing that I love about journaling is looking back. So I often will get my journal and then I'll write about my, you know, what happened today, how I felt, interactions I had, good things that happened, not so good things, and what I'd like to do for the next day. And then often I'll just go and I'll just flick to a random page back in the book just to see where I was, just to see what was happening. And I love looking back and thinking, oh, wow, yeah, like I remember that. And do you know what? Even from that date to here, how much I've changed and how much I've grown, and how actually, you know, I don't feel like that anymore. And more on this. And you actually get to see your journey, your growth, and your transformation in your own words on your own paper. Because I think sometimes as well, we can forget to acknowledge how far we've come, or just not even really realizing that we have made, you know, really good steps in our lives, and we've achieved different things, and we've moved on from different mindsets, because you know, we're always going, and not really taking a chance to look back and say, do you know what? Wow, like I was there, and I was thinking this, and I was in this place, and I was doing that, and like now I'm here. And it's just a way to kind of acknowledge yourself for your growth and the things that have happened in your life too. So definitely, I would definitely recommend journaling. Is there anyone else here that journals, that enjoys journaling? Got someone, yes, I journal, but not consistently. Yes, I would also say that I have maybe on and off weeks, so that can happen to me too. I really like to journal every evening, every night, like when I'm in bed, every night. But there are definitely nights that maybe like after I've done some reading, or maybe I feel just really tired, that I just then go to sleep and I haven't journaled, and I'll do it the next day. So it might not be, you know, every single day, but also I wouldn't, again, no judgments on, don't judge yourself on whether you know, if you are journaling each day, or if you feel that it could be more consistent. Just the fact that you know, you have one and that you do it, you know, when you can, you know, it's a really good thing. Like everything takes time and practice. So I think the more you try, maybe the more you'll have it. Like I have it right next to me, in bed on the dresser. So it's there. It also reminds me to do it. But yeah, don't be hard on yourself on whether, you know, you feel that you're consistent or not. Just have it there and have it close to you, and as a reminder for you to do it. And I have a message, another one here. Yes, I journal, not every day anymore, but when I feel pulled to. Yeah, I often do after meditation, and find I also do little drawings that have come from my meditations, and get curious what they mean. It is a beautiful practice to give to yourself. Great reminder, thank you. Yeah, of course. I love that, and I love that you do drawings too. That's great. I love that. And yeah, I love how you've also said, you know, not every day, but when you're pulled to, like the other person, you know, you might be feeling like you're inconsistent, but actually maybe you're also just journaling when you feel pulled to, and that's also great. And like I said, same for myself, it's not always every day. I like to do it every day, but if it's not, that's okay too. You just do it when you feel pulled to do it. But I feel like it's something that really helps, and I think especially if you do have a lot on your mind before going to bed, it's just a great way to get it all out before you sleep, because it's really hard to sleep when you've got lots of thoughts and questions maybe going on in your head. It's just a really good way to get it out onto paper. And yes, and we'll put true a mind dump. Yeah, definitely. Like just get it all out, and you'll definitely sleep much better. So yeah, so then so yeah, after my reading and the meditation, journaling, I will normally do also a meditation before sleep, and could be short ones, and they're also sometimes different. Sometimes it's just about kind of like how I feel. Also, I like guided meditations. I get meditations from YouTube, and I kind of just pick one that I'll feel like I might want to meditate on. But actually, I kind of found that sometimes some of the best ones are when I'm just silent. So after, so as this person's put, like they normally do some journaling after meditation. I'm kind of like the other way around. I journal and then I kind of meditate in silence and quiet with just a really quiet mind. And I find that that really just helps me drift off to sleep. And again, so if meditation is new to you, or you're like, not sure I can do that, I would go with how I started with guided meditations. And as I said, I went into YouTube and typed in guided meditation and just looked at what came up and just looked at what I resonated with me or what I was pulled to kind of click on. And there's all different lengths of time that you can do them. There were like 2 minute, 3 minute meditations, 5, 10, 15, 20, and all the way out. So I normally do like a 5, 10 minute one before bed. But I mean, you could even do just a 2, 3 minute one. I know that there's different apps as well that people use these days as well for meditations if they want to. But just another way of just really centering and calming and just being you, just being one with yourself, and just really just silencing all the noise, and just being very quiet, and just giving yourself, just pouring into you. It really is just about pouring into yourself and nourishing yourself, and just giving you that bit of peace. And then and then for me, it just really just gets me off to like a really nice sleep. So how do you all feel about meditation? Never done it before. Someone has put here they've never done it before. Okay. Is there anything that stops you from doing it, or do you have any reservations to it, or is it just something that you haven't that you've just never tried? Just let me know if you want to in the chat. Someone's saying yes, I do meditate now and then. Yeah. Just never thought it would work. So the person who was put that they had never tried it before because they think that it would never work. So my what I would suggest is, how do you know if you haven't tried? Really? I think that's probably what I would say. I have this kind of maybe philosophy, my own maybe philosophy is, because people have lots of opinions. People have their opinions of like what works and what doesn't, and that's great. We can all have our own opinions. But if it is something that you're maybe thinking about, and you're like, oh, I'm just not sure it would work, I would just give it a go. I would just give it a go and see. Do maybe like a bit of research, like I said, on YouTube, on the internet, or beginner's guides. I'm sure there's some sorts of beginner's guides to meditation and things. When I first started, like I said, I'd heard about it on a show that I was watching, and I just thought, let me give this meditation a go. Like I'd never, this was maybe 8 years ago. And I'd never done it either, and thought, well, let me just give it a go. And I do talk about it in my ebook when I'd first started and what I'd done. And I did the same thing then. I kind of just went online and just had a look, and I tried it. And the first one that I did, I fell asleep, which I realized that's not, unless like me, when you're going to bed, that's your intention. That's not really the intention, is to fall asleep. So, so then I just started to learn about it. But what I did realize is obviously it made me very relaxed. So, but then I started looking into it more, and the more it became like, the more I kind of saw the benefits and felt the benefits in me, is what made me like continue to do it. So I would just give it a go. Like I said, even just a short one. I know some people feel it's like a little bit unnerving, like to sit, to just sit, and you know, be alone and be quiet. But like I said, you can have, you can do guided meditations where it's not quiet. There's someone speaking. There's different ones. There's even chanting ones, mantra type ones, where you're not silent and you're saying things. So there's a huge range. So I wouldn't just cut it off. Definitely have a go, and then just see how you feel, see yourself. And someone else here has just put, yes, I have to meditate every morning. And when I don't do it, then I really feel it. It has become a habit, just like brushing my teeth now. Yeah, I got that too. Yeah, that's how it feels for me. It's turned into a habit that I love. And I think when you start to see and feel the benefits, is when it starts to become like a habit. So so that's my evening routine. So as I said, I kind of have my last meal at we eat about 6, 6:30. Yeah, about 6, 6:30 in the evening. Then when I'm getting the kids ready, we kind of tidy up all the toys and things downstairs, get them bath, store in bed. That's their routine. I come downstairs and I'll probably just do like another kind of sweep through to get the place tidy, and then I'll have that me time, which is filled with whatever it is for me. Sometimes it's personal growth. Most of the time it's coaching sessions. It could be reading, and it could also just be watching TV at one time, but it's just about creating time for you, because this is what is going to help with motivating you to continue to keep going. Because when we are overstretched, when we are feeling burnt out, when we feel like we don't have any time for ourselves, and we've given so much to other people all through the day, each day, every day, each week, and not pouring into us, is when we can start to feel this, unmotivated feelings. So definitely create time for yourself. Even if you can't create maybe as many hours as I have done, but whatever it is, try to create that time. But also don't really limit yourself. Because I just thought, as I said that you might not be able to create the same amount of hours. You may be able to, but they're just things that you need to do and change, and kind of starting to put yourself first in your actions and in the ways that you go about your life. We may be able to create that time. You just need to start putting yourself first. So just remembering that you are important and that you are deserving and worthy to have time just for you, not here just to serve everybody else. This is how we end up with an empty cup if we continue to give and we don't give back to ourselves. So I just find it's just really important that you create time for you as often as you can. And that can even be, maybe you go for a walk at some point, and maybe the time that you create isn't in the evening. Maybe it's earlier in the day. Maybe it's lunch times that you find that, like, that's my time, and I go for a walk or I listen to a podcast, but it's just you. It's just making sure that, like, you have times that are just for you, and you're not constantly just giving and giving and not giving back to yourself. So I've created that me time for me. I get into bed, I'll do reading, I'll do journaling. Again, to really recommend journaling. And then I do a short meditation, and then I fall off to sleep. So that's my evening routine. So in the mornings, and as I mentioned before, my son, found it, he wasn't that into sleep. So he would wake up at all different times in the night. He has touch wood, got better with that. But I really love to get up early. I like to get up before the kids. So I love to get up about 4:30 in the morning. And I have to say, like, I love it. Like, I love my morning routine. So this is another time where I've carved out for myself. And I know, like, when I tell people this, sometimes they're just like, what? Like, what are you doing getting up at 4:30 in the morning? Like, it's way too early. And but for me, I mean, it's a time that I cherish. I really, really do. Everywhere is quiet. The house is quiet. Outside is quiet. Everywhere is quiet. And it really is just time for me to start my day. So I wake up really early. Well, I think it's early, but yeah, I wake up at 4:30 and brush my teeth, get myself together, and then I will come downstairs and I will do a meditation. And this is when I do maybe a bit of a longer one, maybe a 10-15 minute meditation. But again, I go onto YouTube and find a guided meditation that I enjoy, or a new one might be just however I'm feeling like as I wake up. And I will, so I'll do meditation. I will do some working out as well. And my workout is, I like to do HIIT workouts and I like to do yoga. And something that I had learned is I kind of thought that you had to work out for 30 minutes or you have to work out for an hour. Like if you work out for those times, like, that's sufficient. Like that means that you've worked out. And then what I've actually come to realize is that I can also work out for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, or 10 minutes and still get a great workout, because it's actually not about the duration, it's about the intensity of the workout that you want to do. So once I found that out, I was just like, oh, like now I can do it, like now I can fit this in, like I can do this. So I would, like my yoga, I would do for 10 minutes, HIIT workout, I do for 7 minutes. There's a great YouTuber that I follow that does these 7-minute workouts it makes you feel like you've worked out for an hour. It's amazing. It's just about intensity. But yeah, so I do actually short workouts, because also, my kids will be up at some point as well. So I also need to fit it in. But also knowing that I can actually just work out in a time frame that I enjoy, because I think that's the other thing. It's another thing that kind of keeps us from doing those kind of things, is that if we're doing things that we don't enjoy doing. So if you don't enjoy working out for 30 minutes or an hour, then don't. Work out for 5 or 10 minutes. If you don't enjoy working out every day, then don't. Work out every other day or 3 times a week or whatever it is. But when you find what you enjoy to do, this is where you will find the consistency. But it's always going to be difficult if you're going against the grain. If you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to work out, but I'm going to do this one and it's for an hour and I don't really there's no point starting a workout, and it's not something that you're going to keep up if that's how you feel about it. But if maybe it motivates you to be like, you know what, this workout is for 5 minutes, like every morning, like I've got 5 minutes, I can do 5 minutes. And if that's something that motivates you, then you do that. But don't let society and social shoulds, as I call them, to dictate what it should look like for you, because it's all about finding out what works for you. And so if I believe working out is really important, and also the working out, can be walking, it can be swimming, it could be bike riding, it could be whatever it is. But I think it's really important to move your body. But it's definitely important to find out what works for you, consistency. and having consistency, and that's only going to happen if you like what you do. So definitely don't feel like you need to work out for these certain amounts of time. Like I thought that, you know, that's what you need to do. It's not true. And I've been so much more consistent in doing something that I enjoy, which is a 10-minute yoga and a 7-minute HIIT workout. That really works for me. So I love to do that. So definitely just find what works for you. So I'll do yoga, HIIT, and a meditation in the morning. And then I'll go and make my breakfast, which I love, smoothies, which I still have mine here from this morning. I haven't finished it yet. In this one, this morning is banana, strawberry, kale, oat milk, and ice. And I love that. So I normally make a smoothie in the morning, or I'll have like a fruit platter. I love a fruit platter, just so like all the fruits that I have going on, just in a bowl, and have those in the morning. So I normally make that, and then if the kids haven't woke up yet and I still have some time, then I will look at my phone and messages, and then maybe even do like a little bit of work. So I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I try my very best not to look at my phone as soon as I wake up, because all that's doing is you're just taking on a lot of other people's problems and questions and issues that they have going on, and you haven't had the time to really focus on you and get yourself prepared to look and to deal with all those things. So it might not be that those things are going to go away, but you don't need to look at them like as you just woken up in the morning and taking all that on. You want to give yourself some time to prepare to be able to take on whatever it is that you have, obligations and things, responsibilities that you have of the day, but really have poured into yourself first. So how is everyone else's morning routines? Are they like mine, or is that something that you have thought about to do, or do you do some of that? I know somebody has already said that they meditate every morning, so that's part of their routine. Is there anything else that they do in the mornings, like myself? Got someone here who says that they just find that, sorry, let me read that again. I find I don't have enough time in the mornings. And I used to also think the same thing. I didn't have time in the morning. I've got 2 toddlers, how have I got time for this? Which is why I started with the evening routine in this session today, because what gave me the time is not feeling tired when I wake up in the morning. And not feeling tired in the morning meant going to bed at a certain time. It meant doing things the day before to lead me up and to be able to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Because I could still get up at 4:30 in the morning when my son would be up at 3 a.m. And I could deal with him, go back to bed, and still get up at 4:30 and not feel tired. And that's literally because I believe of all the things that I've done the night before, the evening before, and how much sleep I've had. Because that's the thing, because if I sleep at 10, I've got 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So I've already had like 5 hours by the time, if he's decided that, that's the time that he'll wake up. So I'm already feeling okay. And also those 5 hours have been a real sleep, like a real restful sleep. That's the other thing. I haven't been tossing and turning. I haven't had a disturb, like I haven't been waking up or, anything like that. I've had like a really good sleep. So by the time that he's woken up, I'm actually feeling okay. Even if he was to wake up at 1 or 2, because the sleep has been deep and it's been, it's just been really restful. I actually feel okay, and I could deal with him 1 or 2 in the morning, go back to bed and still wake up at 4:30 and still feel okay. And 4:30 maybe like too early for you. Maybe it's a different time. Maybe you don't have to, as much time. You don't have to have as much time or do as many of the things that I do in the mornings. But these are just ideas for you to try to be able to create time. But I definitely feel that what happens the night before leads to the morning, definitely. So, if you're going to bed at 11 or 12 in the night, and maybe you're watching a program until that time, and then going to sleep and thinking that you're having like a good sleep, all the things that you've just watched on that program is what will be going on in your head. Or if you've been on the phone messaging or reading the news, maybe even before going to bed, all of that will be going on in your body, and in your mind when you're trying to sleep, and you won't be having a restful sleep. So when you wake up and you think to yourself, yeah, but I've had 6-7 hours, but were they restful? Were they actually restful sleep, or was your mind still going, or was your digestive system still going throughout the night, and therefore you're then feeling tired like as soon as you wake up? So I would definitely look at like the whole routine of things that you do, to see if you can get yourself to feel better in the mornings, to not be able to feel as tired. And also even if like whatever you're, and I mean, because, if it's completely new to you, it's not something that you need to, you can take bits of this, you could start with something. You don't have to go all in and like completely change everything all at once, because that's not something I did either. I did everything in stages. I took one thing, eating at a certain time, then the next thing was getting into bed, and the next thing was waking up. And I also didn't start with waking up at 4:30. I started waking up a half an hour before my normal time. The normal time I would get up was 7. So I would start with 6:30, and then I would, for a week. And then I said, okay, I can get up at 6, and then I can get up at 5, 5:30. And I kind of did it like that. So everything kind of in stages. So also don't think that you need to just change everything all at once, but making just any of the things that I've spoken about, making any of those adjustments in your life, will start to make a difference and you'll start to benefit from it. So I understand feeling like you don't have enough time in the mornings if you're waking up at, and I mean, because if I woke up at 7, I wouldn't have enough time to do all the things that I've just spoken about either, because I need to get the kids ready, myself ready. I need to take one to school. I need to take one to nursery. Then I need to work. So I wouldn't have time either, which is why I really advocate for creating the time, because you can do that. You can create the time that you need, to be able to give to yourself. Like I said, those times don't have to start at hours. It could be half an hour earlier. And when you wake up half an hour earlier, maybe in that half an hour is just when you sit with yourself and you sit for a little bit. Maybe that's when you journal. Some people journal in the mornings. Maybe you journal then in the mornings. Maybe that's when you could meditate. You could do one thing, and maybe that's when you do 5 or 10 minutes of exercise. But definitely like building on it. Definitely build on all of these different things. So as I said, for me, so once I've done that, I'll make my breakfast, whatever that will be. And then normally by that time, the kids are awake. And then we'll just do all the things I just said then, So get them ready, get myself ready, get them off to school, then I'll start work. But having this consistent routine is something that really can keep me motivated, and it's my anchor. All of those different things are my anchors. The exercise, the yoga, the HIIT, the meditation, the food that I eat, the time that I wake up are all things that I can anchor. They're all things that I can control. And they're all focused on nourishing me and what's good for me. It's not about the outside, it's about me inside. So I think that's really something that's important to remember is, as the world is happening, It's not things that we can control, and you don't want to put your energy into things that you can't control. Just really start thinking about your own world and your own inner world, and what can I do? What feels good to me? What works for me? What makes me happy? And just start really going inwards instead of trying to think, how do we sort these things outwards? Don't worry about those things for the moment. Think about inside and what works for you. So yeah, my morning routine, I wake up 4:30. I like to do yoga and HIIT, meditation, and I'll have like a smoothie or a bowl of fruits that I make before the kids wake up. And I love that time. And also, like, if I can get a bit of work in, sometimes I can, if the kids sleep in or something, I can do like a bit of work on maybe answer some emails and that kind of stuff. But and definitely not looking at your phone as soon as you wake up. I don't have it with me to show you, but I have like an analog alarm clock. That's what I use. I don't use my phone. I just use an analog clock that I got from Amazon, really inexpensive, but I love it because yeah, I don't, so it just stops me from looking at my phone basically. And yeah, definitely pouring into yourself before taking on all of the obligations and thoughts and feelings and wants of other people. And yeah, so that's an evening and morning routine to try to continue to keep motivated and keep moving. It really is just kind of all about focusing on you, on yourself, and what works for you. So as we're coming to a close, as you know, this is a Pay It Forward Life Coach University session. So would you be able to let me know how you will pay it forward? You can just write in the chat. And this, so if you just need some examples, so in previous ones, people have said that they will like send I love you notes to people, like texts, or that they will smile more. And someone, which normally get in each session, is that someone said that they will pass on what they've learned from this session to friends and family. So those are just some ideas of what you would do. And someone has said here that that they will talk to their mom about meal times. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, it's a great one to pass on. And let them know what they've learned. Yeah, that's great. Someone has put check in on a friend to see if she is okay because she has been going through a difficult time. That'll be great. I'm sure that they will really appreciate that. And I love that we can pass on this type of kindness to others. I love that. So so yeah, that's great. So I will be back again next month in July for my next Pay It Forward session. And if you go to lifecoachuniversity.com, and you'll be able to see all of the other coaches there and all of the other sessions that are happening there, all the other Pay It Forward coaching sessions that are there. I appreciate you all being here. It's been great. Again, I acknowledge you for taking the time to invest in yourself right now. It's really important that you give yourself these times, and this is one of those times that you can say that this was all for you, you know, that you gave to yourself and you came to like learn something more, or to be reminded of the fact that you that you're worth this and that you deserve this time. So that's brilliant. And yes, just again, my name is Divina Johnson, a life and success coach for women. I help women abandon social shoulds and come back to their authentic selves. And I will see you all next month. See you all next month. Take care.